Alright, so I just got done watching the UFC 319 press conference and a couple of the media days from the main event fighters. I watched a little bit of Lerone Murphy and Aaron Pico's media days, but I didn't really feel like what they had to say was that interesting. So I'm going to talk about Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis' media days, and then also give a short synopsis of what I thought about the press conference, and then we will keep it moving from there. I have a matchmaking video that's coming very soon. I'm in the process of editing that too right now, so keep an eye out. The first of the two different media day interviews that I looked at from the main event fighters was Dricus du Plessis. Dricus du Plessis literally does not care at all. It's so refreshing to be dealing with a champion that has this disposition of just, I do not care. I'm the underdog. I do not care. People think that this guy's going to beat me easily. I do not care. It's amazing, especially since I picked this guy to win too. I'm very happy about the fact that this guy has the type of disposition that he does. No display of nervousness whatsoever. He talks about how people get so nervous whenever they fight Khamzat Chimaev. Oh, he's going to take me down. And then they just end up doing nothing, anticipating this takedown, which is going to come. And they just get taken down anyways. Dricus is like, okay, well, if you're fighting Adesanya, like, are you just gonna not play to his strengths just because you're fighting a specialist? Like, if I was fighting Israel Adesanya, am I just gonna start butt scooting towards him? No, I'm gonna fight my fight. And I can fight. These are two of my favorite quotes from the entire interview. I can fight tired all day. Let's sprint from round one and see who quits. He wants to make Khamzat Chimaev throw in a towel. And that's so cool that that's how he wants to take this. He wants to break Khamzat Chimaev down. And I literally said in my predictions video that yes, he's going to smash Khamzat Chimaev because he's going to outlast him. He can fight tired all day. I'm calling it now. Dricus du Plessis is going to shoot the first takedown of this fight. Khamzat Chimaev hasn't displayed like insane jiu-jitsu from like front choke positions or, I mean, I guess he did Darce choke Kevin Holland. But dude, Dricus du Plessis is an athletic freak. And we're going to go over his face-off with Khamzat Chimaev. Nobody got mogged. If anything, Khamzat Chimaev was getting mogged by Dricus. Not only was Dricus looking excessively more muscular than Khamzat Chimaev, he also had a belt with him. And that made him look like 10 times more important than Khamzat Chimaev, just squawking like a macaw. Dricus du Plessis had a pretty fair evaluation of the way that the middleweight division looked. He's saying that he's not really paying much mind to Nasruddin Imavov right now because Imavov isn't his opponent. And also because, in his words, there's 4 people in this division that have about an equal right for the title, and they're going to figure it out amongst themselves, and then he'll get a challenger. The dudes he's talking about right now are Baralho, RDR, Hernandez, whose performance he said he was really impressed by against Roman Dolidze, and also Imavov. And Baralho is fighting Imavov, but mainly Dricus is just focused on this Saturday and winning that fight, which, fair play to him, it's a big task, but I know he can do it. I know he can do it, and he believes in himself too, clearly. The only thing that he's looking forward to after this fight is done is to eat deep dish pizza from Chicago, to eat a lot of chicken wings, and to drink beer. This is funny. He said that America has made the greatest snack known to man, Cheez-Its, and he plans on eating a ton of those. Dricus du Plessis just likes Cheez-Its, I guess. That's so funny. But yeah, I mean, look at his face. He looks like there's really not a lot of thoughts in his head other than just like winning the fight. He doesn't look nervous at all or like he's intimidated by the prospects of fighting with Khamzat Chimaev. He looks pretty much the same as he always has. I love Dricus's consistency. He's always just super focused on his goals. I love every single champion who goes about their business like this, dude. Let's just get the job done. Who cares who I'm fighting, man? This belt is mine. I plan on holding it. That's how he approaches all these matchups. I love Dricus du Plessis. I've never made that a secret. I need him to retain this title on Saturday, just so I don't look like a buster, and just because I really like him, dude. I don't like Khamzat Chimaev that much. I think that Khamzat is a massive dork, and he never gives answers to the reporters. Dude is a nerd, bro. And it's just because he has really like violent fights and a crazy fighting style, people just give him an excuse to just be the way that he is. He speaks English and he gets asked questions, but he never gives straightforward answers. And he just ends up talking about something else. They're like, oh, we saw that you were wrestling with Daniel Cormier in the lobby of the Fighter Hotel. What was it like to grapple with DC? And he's like, oh yes, DC is a good man. Very good man, good fighter. And then he just stops talking. And the media is too afraid to pry into his head because, like, it's Khamzat Chimaev, and he's known for being a pretty explosive and threatening person with his words whenever you do incite him. But he literally said, I don't know, bro, to every question about the fight. How do you think Dricus du Plessis' grappling measures up to your grappling? I don't know. Stylistically, do you think that this matchup is more favorable? Or, like, one of the questions was, do you think that the body type of Dricus du Plessis is a guy that you would have an easy time grappling? I don't know. One thing I thought was cool is that he had praise for Baysangur. Baysangur is low-key. Baysangur, if he replaces Khamzat totally after this weekend, Khamzat loses to DDP and fades into obscurity, and now it's just Baysangur, who we're focusing on, is like this Chechen prospect in the middleweight division. Come on, man. Baysangur is infinitely cooler than Khamzat. Khamzat Chimaev, he asked to fight in Abu Dhabi after this fight, which is in October. He's lying. No way he's going to make that quick of a turnaround. He's not going to be able to anyways because he's going to get beat up. They asked him again about the 170 belt. He said, I think that Islam is probably going to win that fight, so he's likely going to stay at 185. He was just talking crap about going back down and fighting Jack Della Maddalena. He likely will go on some type of vengeance mission like Islam did for Bilal Muhammad up the weight class if Jack Della Maddalena retains his title, but it's not even necessarily like they like each other. I think that him and Khabib were fighting at one point and there was beef there. I don't really like Khamzat Chimaev. At least whenever he was super angry all the time, that was like good content. Now it's just like, I don't know, brother. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this Khamzat Chimaev who shows up to these press conferences like he just ate a fistful of melatonin gummies. Ashwagandha Chimaev is not my thing personally. The UFC 319 presser is what we're going to discuss next. Apparently the city of Chicago has one of the biggest Muslim demographics out of any major city in the United States, which that was being reflected by the people who were there in support of Khamzat Chimaev. I thought it was just a bunch of just Gen Z Zoomer fanboys from Instagram who were liking these Instagram reels and TikToks about Khamzat Chimaev. I kill everybody, I kill everybody. Because, bro, they were literally just booing Dricus du Plessis. As soon as the first question was asked towards Dricus, they all just booed him. And they were panning the camera, too. It was just a bunch of nerds like those guys wearing, like, the glue-on beards, bro. And they were just chanting Khamzat. It was so cringe. But Dricus, he was just stoking the crowd, bro, because he just doesn't care. Dricus does not care. All these fanboys were like, boo! Every single time that Dricus would answer questions. But Dricus was noticing that they weren't booing as long as the first time. So he was like, oh, you guys lost half of your supporters. They would boo and they would stop and he'd be like, I'll give you guys another opportunity to boo again. That was actually kind of weak, man. Come on, let me have it. The Dricus haters, they gassed out in the arena. One thing that I did notice, though, is that Aaron Pico, he was kind of crapping himself to be up on stage. I mean, being in the fight is one thing, but he's never been on a stage like this before. I think that he'll perform better in the fight than he does in the press conference because they were booing Aaron Pico at first just because it's hazing. He's the Bellator guy. And Aaron Pico kind of... like while he was talking because like it was pretty overwhelming the amount of like boos and hate he was getting from the crowd. Other than that, they were showing him a lot of love. He showed up in business professional. He's a weird dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. Aaron Pico, hopefully he could just chill out in the next press conference. He showed up in like this baby blue super like tight suit. Like, come on, man. I get that like you see yourself as a business professional at this, and that disposition may take him far as well, but it's really not that. You could tell that this was his first press conference by like how serious he was treating it. Like, bro, we're just talking shit before the fight starts. Eric Nolan, he called Baysangur Susurkaev Khamzat's butt buddy. Pay attention to that face up at the top. That's Eric Nolan. Remember him, because no matter what, he had one of the best moments in the presser. And if he upsets Baysangur, bro, he's an absolute gangster. Because he didn't look scared at all. He has a broken ass nose, and he had some really beady eyes. And he was just looking at Baysangur like this the whole time they were facing off. Eric Nolan is hilarious, dude. This was low-key the MVP of the entire presser. I really rock with Eric Nolan. There was a wheelchair reporter, and he honestly got the crowd so hype, and he cut through the tension of the entire, like, vibes of everything. Because, dude, I don't know why. This is one thing that I really hate, bro. Why is it that every single time a fighter like Khamzat Chimaev or Islam fights, we just get into, like, political rhetoric? The chat is so ass every single time, bro. It's dudes who are using, like, the purple religion emojis, either, like, the cross or the star and crescent, and they're just hating on each other. We're not here for none of that. That's not what any of this is about. The fighters aren't even making it about that. Khamzat Chimaev saying Allahu Akbar, bro. That's just his personal motivation to go out there and fight. Why are we trying to make this into, like, a crusade? Whenever it's a Muslim fighter fighting a dude, DDP, he thanks God, but it's not even like he's like Bryce Mitchell with it, and he's like talking about Christianity at every turn. They're not making it into this like politically charged thing. It's a fucking fist fight, bro. And people are just getting their panties in a wad every time. I personally just have a problem with it, bro. Like whenever we go into like the comment sections of all these different Muslim versus another religion fighters or Christian versus another religion fighters, comments like Christ is king. It's like, okay, cool. Like, what do we do with that now? What is it for? Other than to just make you feel good and to get some interactions on a comment. Shut up, bro. Like, respectfully, please shut up. DDP won the crowd. through just being like, oh yeah, boo me, and then they weren't booing him. He would say things like, yeah, that was a half-hearted effort. Or like, yeah, that was nice while it lasted, but like look at how quickly you guys have all given up. And like his face didn't change. There was no like visible sweat on his brow or anything. DDP was cool as a cucumber up there, even though nobody was rocking with him at the start. This type of attitude is how you get fans. This is how you handle hate in any context. DDP is like the most likable champion in my opinion, just because he doesn't let any of that bullshit get to him, bro. It's kind of remarkable how you could be in a position like Khamzat where the second that you hold up the mic, people start cheering for you. And it's not like he said anything that made the crowd not mess with him, but he was just being cringe in general. They would ask him questions or he'd try to interrupt DDP and he would just go, nah, 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 nah. And it would just be completely unintelligible. And then people would cheer and DDP said something so funny whenever Khamzat Chimaev tried to take a dig at DDP. And DDP was like, you guys are cheering, but don't act like any of you understood what he just said. Nobody got what he just said right now. And it was literally just like, nah, 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 nah. That's literally what Khamzat Chimaev sounds like to me. Nah, 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 nah. And bro, if it was anybody else, we'd all think that this guy is such a goober. But it's Khamzat, so we all give him a pass. MVP, he calls Cannonier Kevin Hart as well. They asked him a question at the very end. They were like, Michael Venom Page, how do you see your fight with Jared Cannonier going? He says, you know me, I'm going to come out there, do something super flashy. Somebody's going to get knocked out, and it's going to be Kevin Hart over there. And for some reason, Cannonier came out like do-rag, toothpick in his mouth. He looked like he literally just looked like an unk, bro. And like, he took great offense to that. Whenever they were like in the face-off, he was trying to look all mean and tough, chewing on this toothpick. It reminded me of like the Spice Adams meme with the toothpick. Or whenever he's like this behind the tree, the guy who's like, ha ha. Yeah, that's literally Jared Cannonier at this presser, bro. He got called Kevin Hart. And then the final thing, DDP looks massive, dude. As far as like stoutness compared to Khamzat Chimaev, Khamzat, he looks scrawny. He doesn't look like he's been in the weight room working. It looks like he's just been blasting cardio to get his conditioning up. And he's like further along in cutting weight than DDP is, but he doesn't look like filled out at all. And they were both wearing those baggy like collared shirts, dude, so why does Dricus look so much more buff than Khamzat? And as far as the height went, Dricus made a joke about it in his media day where he was like, yeah, Khamzat's a giant. I ran into Godzilla. He's about 8 feet tall. He was being sarcastic because, like, Khamzat isn't even that significantly larger than Dricus. There is not going to be any type of bullying that goes on in this cage. People are under the impression that Khamzat solos super easily, and he might, bro, but I doubt it. I don't think it's going to happen that way. So, we have a docket of great fights. Super sad that Bobby Green is no longer going to be fighting with Carlos Diego Ferreira this weekend. Unfortunately, Green did suffer a leg injury or something that made it so he can't walk. He's on crutches right now. But I thought it was cool that Dana White brought Baysangur and Eric Nolan up there on stage just so that they could get a feel for what it's like to be in the UFC on a really high-profile card like this. That was a very nice thing that he did. I am looking forward to this fight. This was one of the better press conferences that we got. Great face-offs. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comment section. Please do like, comment, and subscribe if you made it to this point in the video. I will catch you fellas in the next upload. Peace.